All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of TripAdvisor Film Friday edition. It is the Friday before the Oscars this Sunday. Man, it feels like it's been a long wait. It has been a long wait. I mean, because we're going from like last February to the end of April. So really it's been, 14 going on 15 months between Oscars, but we finally arrived. It's been a unique year for film, but I think it's been a good year for film. If you haven't already watched last week's episode, I encourage you to do so. We've all got time to kill. So if you got 3+ hours, you can hear my predictions. My friend Adam here is with me again today, his predictions, as well as our friends Scott and Nick. We gave our favorites of the year. And today we're going to talk about our predictions, so you can laugh at me next week when I get half of these wrong, as always. But we're going to go through all the categories. But before we do so, Adam, welcome. Kleiner is here.
Thanks, man.
How are you feeling about Oscar season? You were saying off air, it's a little different this year. It's kind of hard to kind of get re-engaged because it's been such a long season.
Yeah, I think we've reflected this before, but typically I have ingrained in me an annual annual calendar ritual of January, February are very intense, focused months of anticipation and excitement and movie watching. And it's now we're the last week of April, and I just keep reminding myself that the Oscars are this week, which is so surreal because usually I'm just so hyped up and amped up and excited for it. But I am. I just have to remind myself that it's April and the Oscars are still happening. And we've been talking about a lot of these movies for many, many months, and there's not much more that can be said about them. But as you and I were saying, I think the one beautiful shining light in all of this, silver lining, is that the creative directors behind the broadcast this year. Over the last several months, there's been multiple award shows, and we've seen them all adapt to doing it through Zoom or through different modifications, and with varying success. I think I've been entertained by the few award shows I've watched. But the creative team behind this year's Oscars broadcast, which the central figure is filmmaker Steven Soderbergh, they really wanted to set themselves apart. And I mean, it was for film geeks like us, when we heard Soderbergh was a creative director behind the broadcast, that was exciting months ago when we heard that. But now we're hearing what that might look like. Right. And apparently it's going to be like a film production. And
that's very intriguing.
The fact that we will get to watch a 2 to 3 hour awards ceremony. Actually, I don't even know how long it's going to be, but it's a awards ceremony that is going to take the genre, appear to be like a film broadcast, a broadcast of a film. And I don't know what that means, really.
I don't know how they're going to pull this off. Apparently, even the awards themselves are going to somehow sort of seamlessly fit in the overarching sort of theme or plot of the story. So,
yeah, and they're filming it in
Union Station. Yeah.
Union Station, so it's not in a normal setting. Yeah, people are swapping in and out like cast members. Even the ruling for health protocol is because they're treating it like a set, that if you're in the shot, you don't have to wear a mask,
right?
But all the crew does. And if you're off set, if you're off camera, you have to wear a mask and follow protocol. And of course, everyone's being tested and everything. But just all of that, it just sounds, that's just really exciting. And for that reason, I really want to encourage everyone to watch the Oscars this Sunday, because it's a big, giant mystery. And what's more exciting than a mystery? So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll call it, you just call it Oceans 2021, right?
That'd be great.
Yeah. So Soderbergh is a director we have a lot of love and respect for, and it'll be very unique and interesting. And I know viewership has been down in all these award shows, understandably, given the year we've had. And some of them have left me sort of like, meh, that was not that great. But I think infusing this with sort of a live sort of action film sort of plot in a different setting, I'm certainly interested.
Yeah.
But not only because I think, not only the style and the sizzle of this, but let's get into the actual categories and the nominees, because I think we got some phenomenal performances and some excellent films this year we want to celebrate. So why don't we start with some of the shorter subjects? We'll just rip through those shortly and we'll work our way up to the big one, Best Picture. So I know we haven't seen a lot of these short films. I never get to them every year, but for those watching, if you're in an Oscar pool and you're just not sure, go over to goldderby.com and you can see the odds, the rankings, the predictions from the quote experts, or you can just take it from us two experts. But as far as don't take our word on these short ones because we haven't watched them all. But let's start with animated short film. I've seen one, and I can't imagine anyone toppling the one I've seen. It's on Netflix. It's called "If Anything Happens, I Love You." Okay. Man, it really affected. Did you see that one at all, Kleiner?
No, so I don't think I've seen. See, and here's the joke about this category is that typically most
animated guy,
most parents going into this category every year have seen at least two because they've preceded a Disney or a Pixar film, and usually that's the winner too. So this year I don't think. Although I do know. So you mentioned
Burrow is the Pixar one. I remember Disney.
Is Burrows? Is that what you said?
Burrow is.
Yeah, that's on Disney Plus. I haven't watched it, but. So just because this is the category where like, what do I have a frame of reference for? Well, Burrows. I'll predict. But what? Sorry, you didn't say the category. What are all the nominees?
So this is short film animated. You got Burrow. You've got Genius, Loki, Loci. You've got If Anything Happens, I Love You. You've got Opera, and you've got Yes People.
Okay.
So you're going with Burrow.
Sure, why not?
If in doubt, go with the Disney Pixar. Yeah, I'm gonna go with If Anything Happens, I Love You. It's on Netflix. Highly recommend it. A number of
maybe
these films.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be the winner because I actually that's the one that's had like really good
meditation on gun violence and grief.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
It seems like it's for this cultural moment.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
For variety, I'll stick with Burrows, but you're probably right.
Nice. I'm off to a good start. Wait, are we gonna put a little wager on this? We should put a little side wager on this. How about this? Like, if I win, I pick any movie that I enjoyed this year that maybe you didn't, and you need to rewatch it.
Oh.
And if you win, I need to rewatch Soul.
I don't know. My list of movies. There's so many movies you haven't seen that I ranked.
Okay, I'll watch Horse Girl. I don't know. You pick.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Okay, and if I win, you rewatch Palm Springs with your wife. No, you rewatch. I'm Thinking of Ending Things with your wife on a date night.
Okay, well, I might leave her out of it because she did watch it with me the first time.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think she might have liked it more than I did.
Oh, good for her.
Yes, if I lose, if my predictions are lower, I will rewatch because I was already contemplating whether I would do that. I will rewatch. I'm Thinking of Anything, and then I really don't want to hear from you if you watch Soul again. So I don't want that. You just if
I will probably
watch Horse Girl
viewing. So there you go. All right. Now we got something on the line here. It's getting
all right. There we go.
Okay, short film live action.
Yep.
Again, I have seen 2 out of the 5 of these, so I'm kind of flying blind here. But the nominees are Feeling Through, The Letter Room, The Present, Two Distant Strangers, and White Eye. Any thoughts on any of these? I know.
Well, and again, another category where it's just what I happen to read in articles about contenders. I rarely get to watch them or make the time for them, I should say. However, I just happen to follow the filmmakers behind Two Distant Strangers. I follow them on social media, so I was excited to see them get nominated. I'm going to watch the film. I haven't. It's 30 minutes. It's on Netflix. Is it Netflix? Yeah.
Yeah. It's
on Netflix. I've heard great things about it. Similar themes in terms of race and police brutality theme. But I haven't watched it yet. But so, anyways, I'm gonna just because I know of it, I'm gonna pick that one.
Okay. So. Yeah, I actually just watched that yesterday, and it was interesting timing because we just heard the conviction of Officer Chauvin in the George Floyd trial, and then I go and watch this film. I knew a little bit about it, and it really hit me. But when I step back from the film, I think it's a powerfully effective film.
Yep.
But as far as filmmaking quality, it was a little lacking to me. I'm going to go with another one just to be a contrarian here. We'll mix things up. I'm going to go with The Letter Room. That's the other one of these I've filmed. It's with the most recognizable actor in those 5, Oscar Isaac. He plays a prison guard who's in the mailroom reading letters from family members coming to prisoners. Right. and I found it to be quite well done. So I'm going to
Well,
go
I'm a
with the letter
sucker
room.
for Oscar Isaac, so that's again, you probably picked the right one. But
I don't know. Gold Derby.
fantastic. I love him and everything.
The Strangers is the front runner, so it's probably between
Yeah.
those two. So we'll see.
Cool.
All right. Documentary short subject. I haven't seen any of these.
No.
Like you, the nominees are Colette, A Concerto is a Conversation, Do Not Split, Hunger Ward, and A Love Song for Latasha. I'll hit lead off here. I'm just going with the Gold Derby frontrunner for this one. I'm going to go with Love Song for Latasha. Heard good things about it. Concerto is a Conversation. Seems to be the other one in the conversation, but I'll go for Love Song for Latasha, just because.
Yes, me too.
All right.
No idea.
I'll get to these eventually. I just haven't. They're hard.
You said Gold Derby's predicting it, then that's what I'm going to go
It's a tight race, but it's the front runner. Okay, let's get into some of the major categories here. That's the short films. Let's start with visual effects. Visual effects. So we've got Love and Monsters, The Midnight Sky, George Clooney's film. We've got Mulan. We've got The One and Only Ivan, and we've got a movie that gave us both some grief when we left the theater, but we respect the visual effects, Tenet.
Yeah, and I have grown an appreciation for Tenet. I'm too big of a Nolan fan to not not purchase it. I had to purchase it because I just devoted to him, but I can appreciate it more, but the initial viewing was very disappointing, and I'm very conflicted because my gut reaction is obviously Tenet, like the visual effects were remarkable, and so much of it was in camera, so why wouldn't it win? But there's also controversy because Nolan, Nolan maybe rightfully criticized a lot with what's going on with distribution, and my understanding is that because of that, Warner Brothers didn't.
They weren't painting the film as hard as they normally would have, right?
Yeah, they didn't submit the film for consideration, in a traditional manner or something like that. So I don't know. What's your prediction here for visual effects?
Yeah, I think it's between Tenet and The Midnight Sky. They both kind of split the awards in the precursor events.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Tenet though. At the end of the day, I think it's too good. Even though Nolan tried to sort of sabotage his own.
I never saw Midnight Sky. I only heard about it and never got to it. But
it's one of a few. I've got the Rotten Tomatoes Oscar sheet here, so it's either certified for fresh or splat. I don't know if you can see it, but it's one of a few splats on my page here, Midnight Sky. So I didn't think it was a great movie, but the visual effects are probably the highlight of the film for me.
Okay. I'll predict Tenet there.
Yeah. All right. Next category. This might be one of the tougher ones of the day. We were talking earlier. This is pretty straightforward for most of these categories, one or two. This one, you can make a case for possibly all five or two or at least three. It's film editing. And there were a lot of interesting films and a lot of interesting editing techniques in these films. But 5 worthy nominations. So we got The Father. We've got Nomadland. We've got Promising Young Woman. We've got Sound of Metal. And we've got The Trial of Chicago 7. This is tough. Maybe we can just chat about this because I think we've both seen all 5 of these films, and I think you agree with me to acknowledge that the editing was a strength in all of these films. So I'm kind of partial to The Father as far as editing. What they did in that film, the editing was
I'm partial to both The Father and The Trial of Chicago 7.
Yeah, they're totally different editing styles, right? Of the 5, Trial's the one that's the most cutty and have all those flashback scenes. So that's the one it's pretty obvious. The editing is more upfront and obvious. And maybe,
but
it's kind of like the Ford versus Ferrari last year, right?
Well, but both of those two films, they're not nearly as successful without the caliber of editing they receive, right? But so what's Gold Derby saying about that one?
So if we're looking at Gold Derby and we're looking at the precursor awards and the guilds, it's really been split down the middle. I think SAG was a tie between Sound of Metal and Trial of 7. Those are the two that are neck and neck. I think Sound of Metal is a very, very slight favor over the Trial of Chicago 7, but it's like neck and neck.
Okay, so The Father's not even on the radar.
Father's sort of a distant third.
Okay.
Fourth.
I'm going to go with Trial because you got to think about all the crazy when it for people watching who give a crap, like when you get a category where there's no clear front runner because of the previous award shows in the last couple of months, when they're close like this, you just have to start thinking about the makeup of the Academy voters and the trends over history that they've had in terms of recognizing favorites or recognizing a film that they love to recognize, but they're not going to give it the big awards to. And anyways, and sometimes it's legacy stuff too, about some people or filmmakers or artists who haven't won in the past but should have won, and so they get one for maybe one they don't deserve as much. But anyway, all those factors, it's always fun and fascinating for some of us. But anyways, I'll just go. I'll predict Trial of Chicago 7 for editing.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to see The Father, and I think Sound of Metal's awesome. I enjoyed that movie more, but I'm going to put my personal bias aside. I'm like you. I think Trial of Chicago 7 will take this one. I think for all the reasons you stated. So I'll go with Trial of Chicago 7 as well.
Cool.
Production design.
Okay.
Justice for Mank.
Yeah.
Mank's nominated for 10 awards, and this is the one I'm sure it will win. But here's what it's going up against. It's going up against The Father. Subtle but awesome production design as well. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Mank, News of the World, which I thought News of the World, it wasn't a great film, but I think the production design was a highlight for me. And Tenet.
Yeah, I mean, production design and Tenet's crazy as well.
Yeah.
But Mank, again,
Mank's been sweeping all the award shows. It's out in front.
Yeah, it's been sweeping, and you've got the old Hollywood homage, which is
what they did
favored
production design there. So okay, we're both on the same page there.
Yep.
Let's go to cinematography. Always an interesting category. So we've got a film you really adored, Judas and the Black Messiah. We've got Mank again, News of the World once again. Nomadland and Trial of the Chicago 7.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, it basically comes down to Mank and Nomadland, right?
I think those are the two. Mank just won the Cinematography Guild Award.
Right.
But Nomadland's won a couple of the other precursors and is out in front on Gold Derby. So it's...
Oh, it is on Gold Derby. It's out in front.
60-40 kind of, yeah.
What are the names? Who are the cinematographers?
Oh, you would ask that.
Yeah. It's all right. Well, I'm trying to remember who thinks you're used, because again, that's to me when it's close like this. It comes to legacy of is one of them a cinematographer who hasn't been rewarded in the past or recognized in the past that is overdue.
Both of them, neither of them have won one before.
Oh wow, cool. Oh yeah, because Nomadland he's a newcomer. He's a young guy.
Yeah, is it Joshua James or something? Yeah. Here, I'm pulling it up here now. Richard, sorry, James. Yeah. So you got for Mank, it's Messerschmitt, and for Nomadland, it's Richards. And I don't think either of them. Joshua James Richards for Nomadland and Eric Messerschmitt. Never nominated before, neither of them.
Wow.
So
I'm gonna go with Mank. I'm gonna predict Mank on that one.
You're gonna go Mank? Okay. I've been back and forth on this one so many times.
Have you watched Mank a second time yet?
No. You can make me watch that one instead of Soul if you want. If you win. I'm not watching both back to back though.
Mank and Horse Girl and whatever else. There's a lot I had that you had. Anyways, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with Nomadland. I think production design is where Mank will get its one and only Oscar. I'm gonna go with Nomadland here. I'll go with prediction. I just thought it was such a beautiful film.
Well, and that's the thing is this the year? Right. Some years it's there's a front runner in the major categories, but they only end up walking away with 3 or 4 major categories, and then the rest goes to others. Where this year Nomadland really has a chance to really sweep in every one of its categories, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, and I'll go against Nomadland in another category upcoming. Okay. But I do think it'll win this one and cool. A couple other ones at least. Okay, let's go to costume design. Some pretty impressive works here on this list. So we've got Emma, sort of the Victorian period piece, which is always a favorite with the Oscars. We've got Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. We've got Mank again. We've got Mulan. Not a great film, but the costumes were impressive. And one I haven't seen yet. I don't know if you have Pinocchio.
No, I didn't
see Pinocchio.
I don't even know if we have access to it.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things more about makeup, which we'll get to, but it's on the costume design list here as well. I think this is an Emma Ma Rainey's.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like Ma Rainey is the one that people, and we'll come back to that with acting, the real roll of the dice here. But I'm going to guess Ma Rainey because, people want to give it some other recognition than maybe the acting.
Right. Yeah, it didn't get nominated for Best Picture like some people thought, and I didn't think it deserved a Best Picture nom myself. But no. I do think its costume design was the strength, one of its strengths, and I'll go with Rainey as well.
I think I felt about Ma Rainey the way you felt about Mank.
Really? Okay.
I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just being facetious, but just because some of the technical aspects like production design and costume were wonderful. But
that's interesting because I thought it was a directing issue for me with Ma Rainey.
Yeah, the direction
performances in Ma Rainey were top notch. So, they're both nominated, right? So, yeah.
Okay. What did?
All right.
So did you guess Ma Rainey too?
I'm going to go Ma Rainey as well for costume.
Okay.
And then we get to makeup and hairstyling. Again, some overlap here with costume, as is normally the case. So once again, we've got Emma. Mm-hmm. I've got my lowest 26. Okay, which movie do you think this is? 26% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, no, it's not. No, Harley Quinn wasn't nominated.
Nope.
I forget.
It's also nominated for Best Supporting Actress, who will lose again for the millionth time.
Oh, Hillbilly Elegy.
Hillbilly Elegy. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even watch it. I just heard so many.
Oh no!
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Was it better than 26%?
I don't know. I mean, yes, more than 26%, but it was. Yeah, it's a 2.5-star film, and Glenn Close is amazing in it, and the makeup is great.
Right. So it's worthy to be nominated for this category, I think. So it's there with Emma, Ma Rainey again, Mank again, and Pinocchio again.
Actually, you know what? Originally, I did think Hillbilly had a chance with makeup. I don't know. Who are you going with?
I'm going Rainey again. I think it'll take both makeup. Viola Davis in particular was pretty incredible. Yeah,
is that the front runner Gold Derby?
I don't even.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
It is, yeah.
I think. Tell me the nominees again. Who am I forgetting?
Emma, Hillbilly, Ma Rainey, Mank, Pinocchio. I hear Pinocchio is like amazing, but who's seen it?
Well, and this, you say hair and makeup, I immediately think of Amanda Seyfried and Mank. You know?
Yeah. It's definitely in the mix. I think it's between Mank and Ma Rainey, but I'm going to go Ma Rainey.
Yeah, I'll go Ma Rainey. A little more showy, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. This one should be a slam dunk. Best sound. So we've got Greyhound. I never saw that either.
Never saw it.
We got Mank again. You're going to hear Mank a lot. It's nominated 10 times. News of the World, Soul, and Sound of Metal.
Right. Yeah. And, I mean, the obvious Sound of Metal is the front runner.
Yeah.
Is our understanding.
And rightfully so. I think Soul is worthy also. As probably.
Well, Mank's worthy too. Like it's crazy. If anybody wants to take a moment just to read a little bit about what went into the sound design of Mank, it is nuts how far they went.
Right.
To create this old style sound.
Yeah. But I think the same thing applies here as what you said about Trial of Chicago 7 for editing. Without the crazy editing in the Trial of Chicago 7, it's a shadow of the film it is.
Right.
And I would say the same for Sound of Metal. Not that Sound of Metal is a one-trick pony. I think it's a wonderful film.
Yes.
What they do with the sound in that film, my goodness, it's like nothing I've ever heard.
So is this mixing or editing?
They've conflated this year. It's one category now.
What?
There's no longer mixing and editing. They've just put it in sound design. It's right. Yeah. I'm glad they did that. I could never understand. Well, mixing design. How do you?
Yeah, they always had to explain it, and I always appreciated the difference. But
So moving forward, it's just one category. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Before it was what you heard and how much you heard it.
Right.
And now that's fascinating. Okay. Anyways, so then if it's one category, then yeah, I mean, Sound of Metal.
Yeah, me too. I think this was one of the most obvious ones for me. Not to speak against Soul and Mank in that category. I think they're both superb, but Sound of Metal is head and shoulders above. Okay, let's get to we'll do original song and then original score. So original song, we've got Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah, Hear My Voice from the Trial of Chicago 7, Husavik from Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. We've got Yossi Scene from The Life Ahead, and we've got Speak Now from One Night in Miami. It's a tough one.
Well, and again, back to the broadcast, it's interesting to hear that or read that all the performances of the songs are now going to be pre-show. Mm-hmm. So that it's all like the red carpet kind of situation before the actual product, which is kind of a neat way of changing it up. I don't know what the front runner. I mean, I love the song from One Night in Miami.
I think that's a slight front runner. Yossi Scene is in the mix. Husavik's kind of the underdog. So those three seem to be at the top. I'm going to go with Speak Now, though, from One Night in Miami.
Yeah.
I think, it didn't get a Best Picture nomination.
Right.
I mean, he is nominated for a supporting actor. I don't think he'll win that, but this will be a way to honor that film and his performance, I think. So
I'll
go with that one.
I agree.
Okay. Original score. This one is fairly straightforward as well. So we got The Five Bloods. I wish I was saying that more today, but that's the only time I'm going to say that. Yeah, and only that. We both love that film, and I almost want to write Delroy Lindo to my ballot and just pick him, even though he's not nominated. Anyway, the Five Bloods. We got Mank again, phenomenal score. Minari, my favorite film of the year. Love the magical score in that one. News of the World and Soul. Interesting that we know, but others may not know that those who are behind the score for Mank also did it for Soul, right? So we've got Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So
who are previous winners.
And
they have a very distinct. It's funny because I just recently, I know it came out like a year ago, but I just recently watched the HBO show Watchmen, and they did the score for that too. And like just as soon as the first episode starts, you're like, oh, this is a Reznor Atticus. This I didn't realize they did the score because they have a very distinct sound,
right?
But it's so effective. They won the Oscar, 10 or 11 years ago for Social Network.
Yes.
Did they win twice? Anyways, I think yeah, I'm a little bit torn about this because I don't know. I mean, Soul, I hope Soul wins. I hope they win, but at the same time, there are other wonderful contenders for this.
So, what are you thinking?
So, no, I'm predicting Soul.
Oh, yeah, me too. I think all five are. It's not a category to say, oh, why didn't this get nominated?
Right.
Oh, I like that other animated score from Wolfwalkers, but all five of these
I was shocked that Tenet didn't get nominated for score.
Yeah.
Because that's all you could hear.
You drowned out all the dialogue, right?
You couldn't hear anything else. You could only hear the score.
Yeah, exactly. Score mixed in with some explosions. Yeah, I'll go with Soul too. That seems to be. I'm not going to go against Gold Derby on this one. It's won everything leading up to this. So
right.
Yeah. Speaking of winning everything else, best international feature film. So we got the presumptive frontrunner, Another Round of Denmark. We've got Better Days. I think that's Hong Kong. We've got Collective, a very fascinating and effective true story about journalism.
You watched that?
Yeah, I did.
Is it like super long or something?
Ish. Yeah, it's probably the longest on this list here. It's a double nominee. We'll get to documentary shortly.
Right.
And then The Man Who Sold His Skin. I've seen all these actually. And Quo Vadis Aida, which is quite good. I would encourage people to watch that one. That's the
I mean, Another Round deserves.
Yeah, Another Round. I mean, when you see, we'll get to Best Director, but the surprise Best Director nominee was Thomas Vinterberg directing Another Round. So when you
Yeah.
see the director from an international film get Best Director nomination, that pretty much is a slam dunk. So
Yeah.
another round, we'll drink to that. All right, Best Documentary. So again, Collective, a double nominee, much like I believe Honeyland was a couple years ago.
This is a hard category for me.
This is a very hard category.
This is a heartbreaking one for me, actually.
Yeah, this is one where my head and my heart are torn, as I'm even more so with you, maybe. So Collective, we've got Crip Camp, which is a good film as well. It's 100% here on Rotten Tomatoes. We got The Mole Agent. We've got My Octopus Teacher, which is on Netflix, and we've got Time, your favorite film of the year.
Yep.
And my favorite documentary as well. That's on Amazon. If you haven't seen Time, I encourage you to do so. So those are the 5, and this is tough.
Wait, did you read me them? I thought Truffle Hunters was in there.
No.
Oh, I'm forgetting. I'm mixing up award shows.
Maybe it's the Indie Spirit Awards or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
We got Collective, Crip Camp, The Mole Agent, My Octopus Teacher, and Time.
Right. So, so the people, for the 10 people watching and that don't know, the heartbreaking thing for this is that Time is generally agreed to be hands down the most,
That's the critics' choice of
the best documentary of the year, the most artistic and creative documentary of the year. But the populist choice, the popular one, is the Octopus Teacher, which I heard so much about throughout the year that when I finally watched it, I was like, what's the big deal? But like, anyways,
it was visually it was very stunning, but it was kind of creepy.
I just think it would have worked great as a half-hour short film. It was just
it was kind of drawn out. Yeah,
it really drawn out, and I really lost interest in it partway through. But appreciate it for what it was. But the fact that it's now
it's won the last 2,
winning the awards, is driving me nuts because Time deserves it so much more. So I don't know. I want Time to win, and I will celebrate if it does. I think. So I don't know. Will I predict? I guess I have to predict Octopus Teacher. I mean, how many has it won? Like, how far ahead is it?
So it just won. What were the most recent award shows? BAFTA. It won BAFTA.
Right.
And it won.
Gold Derby's like got it way ahead.
Not way ahead, but substantially ahead. And Time is second. With
whatever. You know what? I don't know what I'm going to do, because I always, like, when there's contests online for Oscars nights, I always submit a couple different ones, and I kind of split my difference. So maybe I'll split my difference, but maybe publicly I'll just say it's got to be Time, and hope and pray.
Yeah, I hope it's Time, but I'm gonna put my personal feelings aside. I'm gonna go with Octopus.
Yeah,
I want you to watch Kaufman again.
Yeah. Probably on your way.
Speaking of head and heart differences, let's talk about animated feature. So this one seems pretty cut and dry as well. So the 5 nominees here are Onward. Seems like that came out forever ago. Like we showed that last summer at our church drive-in movie theater.
Yeah.
Over the Moon, which is a big disappointment. Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon. Love Shaun the Sheep. It's always a good time. That was a good one. But the 2 head and shoulders ahead of the rest are Soul and Wolfwalkers. And I know what you're picking.
Well, yeah, I'm predicting and hoping for Soul, but I am. It's like if a film was nominated for me, where I would want them to win just for the sake of recognition. That both the studio, in this case, the studio Cartoon Saloon, deserves recognition for their incredible work over the last decade or more.
Yeah, but it's tough going against Soul, and I'm like you. Like, as much as you want to see Time win that, I want to see Wolfwalkers win it so bad. But
right,
I can't. It hasn't won anything. I mean, it's got a higher IMDb score. It's got a higher Rotten Tomato score in Soul, but it's not winning any of the precursor awards. So I'm gonna go with Soul as well. But I will be very happy if I'm wrong and Wolfwalkers somehow pulls an upset. I don't know if there's a world where that will happen, but we'll see. Okay, now let's get into the screenplays. We got adapted and original screenplay. they haven't conflated these two categories, thankfully. So we've got 5 interesting nominees here for adapted. We've got Borat, subsequent movie film, which was almost like an improv screenplay. We've got The Father, which we recently discovered, the same person who wrote the screenplay for the live performance as adapted it for the big screen. Florian Zeller. And we've got Nomadland, the presumptive frontrunner for Best Picture. We've got One Night in Miami, it's a film you really adored. And a bit of a surprise, we got The White Tiger sneaking in with that 5th spot.
Yeah, big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch that before the weekend. I have it downloaded and ready to go. I just haven't turned it on yet.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I watched it as soon as it came out on Netflix. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. So the biggest predictor for this, usually what makes it easier is you look at the WGA, the Writers Guild, and they had like, did it though? I thought, wasn't the WGA like there's crazy selections because there was certain what was credible, like, or what was
bring it up if you don't have it in front of you. Come on.
I thought you always have the information in front of you.
Oh yeah. We'll go to
the WGA winners were, I thought, shocking this year and threw a whole wrench in all of this, but maybe I'm wrong.
Borat did well at the WGA, right?
Yeah, what's what I mean? I thought Borat won, which was nuts to me. Because the only reason it's an adapted is because it's based on previous.
Well, yes, because WGA has these weird eligibility rules, right? So Nomadland.
That's what it was.
Eligible.
Yeah.
So I think Promising Young Woman won original. We'll get to that. And yeah, Borat won adapted. But Borat was going against Rainy, News of the World, One Night in Miami, and The White Tiger. So it was going against a couple of these, but The Father and Nomadland weren't eligible for the WGA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that throws a wrench into it.
Yeah.
Which, ironically, I think Nomadland and The Father are probably the 2 front runners here. With Borat, and boy, is Borat gonna is it an Oscar bait?
Oh man, that would be upsetting. The film's fine, and I appreciate it. It's funny, whatever, provocative, but I mean, I think I'm gonna go with Nomadland. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my out on Olympic. I'm gonna go with The Father for this.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a contrarian here. I'll probably regret this pick, but here's my case for The Father. I think it's more impressive as an adapted screenplay than Nomadland is for me. I think Nomadland's strengths are in some of its other categories, and I think too The Father, it wasn't picking up a lot of steam early on because just inaccessibility and a late release. But in the last month, it rolled through BAFTA, and you can say, well, of course, it's British bias there. But I just think The Father's getting a lot of love lately, and I think this is the one place on the ballot where the Academy can recognize that film.
Right.
We'll get to Best Actor shortly.
It'd be great if it did. I mean, and a first-time filmmaker adapting his own stage play,
that's incredible to adapt
remarkable
stage play, and he did it in a fantastic way. So, I'll go with The Father. It's a dark horse, but call it a hunch. I'll go with The Father.
That's good.
Get you back in the race here. All right, let's go to original screenplay. So we got Judas and the Black Messiah. We've got Minari. We've got Promising Young Woman. We've got Sound of Metal and Trial of Chicago 7. It's a pretty loaded category.
Do you still have that screen open with WGA?
Yeah, I
because what was ineligible? Because Promising Young
Woman won against Judas, Palm Springs, Sound of Metal, and Trial. So pretty much all the Minari wasn't eligible.
Oh, only Minari. So Minari is the new addition.
Oh, Minari.
So it is shocking that Promising Young Woman won the WGA against Aaron Sorkin in the Trial of Chicago 7. That is shocking.
That's telling too, I think. I'm going with Promising Young Woman for that reason. I just thought it was it's not a perfect film. I got some.
So here's my question though. Here's my factor: is Minari going to get recognized at all?
We'll get to the acting category. Sure.
Acting category, yeah, right. Because I would have thought that this would be the one other place that maybe Minari could be recognized.
It might. I'd be very happy if it did. It's my favorite film of the year. But I'm going with Promising Young Woman. I think again, it's a bold, audacious first screenplay by Emerald Fennell.
Well, and if you're right, both screenplay awards would go to first time,
which is awesome.
Yeah,
that's so cool for this year, right? So
yeah.
I'll go with what I was thinking.
I'm almost tempted to throw it Minari's way. But I'd
be very happy.
Maybe I'll go Minari. I'll just throw that in there for my one roll of the dice, really.
Maybe I'd be happy if we're both right on our rolls of the dice there. If the father and Minari both win, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's get into the acting categories. So we got 4 acting categories: directing and best picture, the big ones. So let's start with best supporting actor. So we've got Sacha Baron Cohen, Trial of Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. we talked about in Best Song already. His performance, Sam Cooke in One Night in Miami. Paul, I don't know if it's Racy or Rassi. I've heard it pronounced both ways.
Yeah.
For Sound of Metal. And surprisingly, Lakeith Stanfield here, a second Best Supporting Actor nomination from the same film.
Very happy about that.
Surprising and made you quite happy for Judas and the Black Messiah. So here's my question. Daniel Kaluuya has been rolling everything.
Yeah.
Will him going against Lakeith Stanfield, is there a possibility the vote is split and somebody else here? Is that a possibility or not?
I don't think so. I haven't heard a satisfying explanation of how that happened.
Yeah.
I'm very glad that Lakeith got recognition because he's deserved it for years, to be honest. But he's a fantastic character actor, and he's the center. He's more the center of the film. He's the lead actor of that film. Yep. Anyways, it's Kaluuya's year to win it, which is because he didn't win it the year for Get Out. I can't remember who won that year. He was nominated for Get Out several years ago, but he didn't win. Anyways, so that's my prediction for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to overthink this one either. I guess there's a slight possibility that split happened. I guess I'm maybe just hoping that happens because my man Paul Racy can pull it off, but I don't see that happening. Daniel Kaluuya deserves it. I mean, I thought he deserved it for Get Out, and rightfully so here. So I'm not going to overthink it. I'm with you. I'll go with Kaluuya here. And that brings us to Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Now, a couple of months ago, this was maybe the toughest one. Oh, incoming call. Here comes the answer right now. So this was a toss-up, but it seems a little more straightforward now, given the guilds and the most recent award shows. But we've got Maria Bakalova, who's been getting a lot of love for Borat's subsequent movie film. Glenn Close, nominated for, 12th time, I think, never won.
Crazy.
But at the same time, I wouldn't want her first win to be for this film. Well, I haven't seen the film, so I shouldn't say so, but Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy. You've got the adorable, everybody loves Olivia Colman in The Father. She did a fine job in that film. Amanda Seyfried in Mank, and she was like the presumptive front runner a couple of months ago. Everybody's like, Seyfried's got some tag. And then you've got Yoo Jung-yoon from Minari, who's been cleaning up, and her award speeches have been incredible. I don't know if you heard her BAFTA award speech. I think I said it to you guys, but she basically she had the audience in the palm of her hand. She's like, "Oh, I'm so thankful that you British people who are so snobby voted for me," and they loved it. They ended up right. So she basically called them out on their snobbiness. But I thought
I hope she wins. I predict that she wins. I hope she wins. But at the same time, it is heartbreaking because I was so excited to see Amanda Seyfried get recognized and probably win at what I thought months ago.
Right.
But that doesn't seem to be in the cards for her.
She'll be back there again, I'm sure, someday. Yeah. And I hope I hope Glenn Close wins someday. Yeah. But I don't think Sunday will be that day. I think like you, I'm going with Yoo Jung-yoon, and I love that film. Minari is my favorite film. Watch Minari if you haven't. Her performance is just heartwarming. She's a legend in Korea. She feels like she's just representing her whole country, and I'm kind of rooting for both her and Paul Racy because they're longtime elder actors who are just getting recognized globally for their first time. And if one of the two wins, I'll be happy. And I think it'll be Yoo Jung-yoon. So I'll go with her. Okay, let's get to the lead actor and actress category. Let's go lead actor first. So we've got Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal. We've got Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Steven Yeun for Minari. Solid performances across the board here. Bittersweet with Chadwick Boseman's passing, as most people know. If you don't know that, you've been living under a rock, I guess. So this was final performance. So it was a bit of sentimental value here, but I don't want to overplay that because I thought his performance in Ma Rainey was outstanding. If there's someone who's going to take down Boseman, it might be Hopkins. He did
and we were only saying that because of the wrench the BAFTAs threw in.
Right. And
British
again,
awards
you know,
the weekend. But
Father's just picking up steam in the last month. Is that a one-off, though? Is that a British bias, or does he have a legit chance at upsetting Boseman here? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm still saying Boseman for sure. But yeah, the Anthony Hopkins win at the British awards threw it off. But anyways, Boseman all the way.
Yeah. Can I just say, where is Delroy Lindo?
Yeah.
I mean,
nuts.
How is he not on this list?
Just nuts.
I mean, his performance was incredible. It was off the charts.
Yep.
So
true.
I'm going to go with, I'll go with Boseman.
Yep.
As well. Best actress in a leading role. This is probably the hardest of the 4 acting categories.
Yeah, that's right. We used to think the supporting actress was the hardest one to predict this year, but now
because they've been splitting the award wins. So let me just name the 5, and we'll talk about who's won what leading up to this. So we got Viola Davis in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. We've got Andra Day in the United States versus Billie Holiday, which is a train wreck of a film, but her performance is good. We've got Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman, who for the first 20 minutes alone of that film is worthy of a nomination. Sort of one take of her delivering a baby, which is just so harrowing. We've got Frances McDormand, a 2-time winner already for her performance in Nomadland. Subtle, but powerful performance. And not so subtle and powerful performance, we've got Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Women. So it's interesting to see the nature of all these performances. I think they're all worthy of nominations. So Andra Day was a surprise winner for the Golden Globe, which doesn't hold maybe as much weight as some of the other award shows, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
And then you had, I think Mulligan won Critics' Choice.
Yep.
Viola Davis won SAG.
Yep.
And I think Frances McDormand won BAFTA. So
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so they've each won something. It's almost I think no disrespect to Kirby, but I think she's out of the conversation here. It's all of the 4 have a shot. So what do you think? Who are you going with?
I'm still going with Carey Mulligan. I still think I mean you can't really I haven't seen the Andra Day performance, so maybe that's the only one I would complain about. The rest of them I wouldn't complain about. Because they just all gave incredible performances. But despite the screenplay talk we had a minute ago, which maybe throws a bit of a wrench in this, whether it's one or both for Promising Young Woman. But yeah, I think Carey Mulligan is well deserved, and both for the film and for her career at this point. Yeah. And I think that puts a lot of weight on it for sure.
Right. Yeah, you can make a case for all 4. I was kind of back and forth between Mulligan and Davis. Davis winning the SAG.
Yeah, that's the big wrench.
Loved by Hollywood. But here's my thing. I can't see a world in which both Boseman and Davis win without that film getting a Best Picture nomination.
Good point.
Very rare to see both leads win.
Yeah.
So I almost, for a moment, I said, well, maybe Viola wins and Hopkins wins. I'm like, no, I'm not going to bet against Boseman. So I'll go with Carey Mulligan as well.
I like that thinking. That's good. That helps give context too.
Yeah.
It gives context. Like would a Best Picture or one film get both acting awards and not even be nominated? Like that's really good context.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever happened, and certainly not in our lifetime. So yeah.
Okay.
So then we got big 2 here. We got Best Director and Best Picture. So Best Director, we've got surprise nominee Thomas Vinterberg, as we mentioned earlier, from Another Round. We've got your boy David Fincher for Mank. We've got Lee Isaac Chung for Minari. We've got Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, and we've got Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman. Chloe Zhao, slam dunk.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not as big a Nomadland.
I still have.
You want Fincher to
still want Fincher to get his dues. as a director, as most
But
people
for this
do.
film, though, or he'll get his due.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like Scorsese, right? Like Scorsese gets it finally for Departed instead of great superior films, and does Fincher get it for Mank instead of his superior films? But this is Chloe's year, which is great, which is exciting. So yeah, I go with Zhao.
I will happily predict Chloe Zhao. I thought that film was phenomenal. My man Terrence Malick's fingerprints all over her style too. So although she is unique in her own right, she's a disciple of Spike Lee, former pupil of Spike Lee, who got snubbed for The Five Bloods here. So I'm sure he'll be happy as well to see one of his former students win, and rightfully so. I mean, Nomadland, whether or not people appreciate the film or love the film, there's no denying it was well directed and it's a beautiful film to watch. So Chloe Zhao, Best Director. Okay, that brings us to the big one. Now,
I've already put my pen away. I've already put the cap on my pen because the Best Picture is, I feel like, the easiest category to predict.
Yeah, Trial of Chicago 7. Nomadland, yeah.
Yeah, Nomadland has got a. I mean, again, because it's just it's won so many awards going into it, and I mean it's just exciting. It's not my favorite film of the year, but it's exciting to see.
It's nominated for Best Picture for this Indie Spirit Awards. So this is an indie film. Yeah. It's rare.
Right. What's what I mean? For such a small film in a young career to win maybe all these major categories is kind of nuts and exciting to see. And especially even after last year and Parasite, which again, almost identical for me, was not my favorite film of the year. And yet equally as I'm just as excited for its recognition and the historic making of it. I hope that helps set the precedent for something like this with Nomadland.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nomadland as well. Although I still got a voice in my head, that voice of fear and trepidation that Trial of Chicago 7 will be the Green Book of this year. Just a crowd pleaser, sort of, you know. One ballot apparently leaked, and it was Trial of Chicago 7, but that's one ballot, right? So
I hadn't heard that. That's funny.
I will say this though, you know, it might seem obvious, but the way they count the ballots and the votes, it's that sort of weighted sort of ballot system where one movie could have the most number one votes, but if other movies have a lot of number 2, 3, and 4 votes, it could still topple that movie. If there is a is it Trial of Chicago 7? If there is a world in which Nomadland doesn't win, or
a month ago when I was thinking along the weighted tally, I thought Minari would be the poll.
That's maybe it's just my heart talking. This Minari and Nomadland are my 1 and 2 of the year, so I'll be happy if either wins. But I can't see a lot of people not picking Minari in their top 3 or 4, right? I mean, how do you dislike Minari? It might not be your favorite, but it's certainly not your least favorite. Whereas Mank, some people love it, some people don't. Judas, divisive, promising young woman, bold, not for everybody. Even Nomadland, I've heard some people like, it's a little boring-ish. I couldn't connect with the stories. So if there is an upset, I think it's either going to be Trial or Minari, but I'm not betting against Nomadland at this point either. So
that's right.
Yeah. All right, so there it is. You send me your picks, I'll send you yours. We'll lock it in, and one of us. So I'll invite you back after, and you can share how your viewing of Coffin was, or I can share how my viewing of Soul was after the fact. All right.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So Sunday, 8:00 Oscars in Canada here. I believe you can watch it on CTV. If you're stateside, I think ABC is covering it this year. So again, Steven Soderbergh will be the one behind the design, the production design of the show. It'll feel more like a movie. So tune in at 8:00, and I'll see you again next week. I'll give, in retrospect, I'll give my reactions to what I thought about the evening. And Kleiner, thanks for joining me again.
Thanks,
man. I'll
be
riding shotgun again soon. Enjoy the Oscars.
You too.
And go Habs, go. Get rid of that Senators shit. What are you doing? Aren't you a Habs fan?
Yeah. Hometown love, man. Hometown.
All right. Okay. Take care. Enjoy the Oscars.